Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer, food maker, or artisan selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast.
I'm Kat Fields-White.
And I'm Bridget Myers. We're longtime farmers market managers, educators, and consultants. Get ready to catch up on all things farmers market pros with us. Today we're talking with Haire of Tennessee's Nolensville Farmers Market about special events as fundraisers for your farmers markets.
Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by Vendor 101, helping small farmers and food makers launch successfully at farmers markets. You know how to farm and you know how to bake. Let Vendor 101 make sure you know how to show a profit for all your hard work. If you're just getting ready to start your farmers market business, or if you recently started operating in markets and would like to brush up on your operations knowledge, this is the class for you. Market managers can reduce time spent answering prospective vendors' inquiries and help new farmers and vendors get off to a good start by connecting them with Vendor 101. Register today by clicking the Vendor 101 logo on the homepage at farmersmarketpros.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Tent Talk, and a big welcome back to Haire of the Nolensville Farmers Market in Nolensville, Tennessee. Casey and her husband and partner Daniel manage 2 markets in Nolensville and a number of special events. She's also the president of the Tennessee Farmers Market Association. Casey is obviously a busy woman, and we appreciate her joining us today. Thank you so much for being back on Tent Talk, Casey.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you and see you.
She's been on often enough. She's kind of one of our regular co-hosts, right?
I love these return guests. So fun.
Representing the Southeast.
That's right.
Yes.
So I know we're going to talk about events with you, but just in case folks haven't heard you on the podcast, maybe just a little quick background, how you got into the farmers market and what you do there.
Yeah. So my husband Daniel and I started the Nolensville Farmers Market 10 years ago. So this is our 11th season, our 10 years running this summer. So it's been a really fun summer to celebrate that. I also have managed other community markets within the county and then serve as president of the Tennessee Association of Farmers Markets since 2020. So been doing that for a bit now. And just love the community around farmers markets and everything that we grow and cultivate within our own little networks.
Yeah. I think we had you on an episode during COVID and you guys had a drive-through system and all of that. So you've really been through it and done a lot of really creative things to help your market thrive. What day is your market and what's your market like?
So our big Nolensville market is on Saturday mornings. And then our other markets were weekdays. Right now we have a Wednesday night market that's doing really well in a little pocket community in Franklin. But we've done pretty much every night of the week.
Nice. Yeah, you guys keep busy over there.
Do you have a third market now?
Yeah. So it's not started yet. We're kind of doing a pop-up for Thanksgiving. But one of the other market managers that I'm friends with that was doing markets in the Nashville area moved out to Burns, Tennessee. And so we're going to be launching a market outside of our county, which is pretty much has been our territory since we started next season. So we're kind of doing a little pop-up to meet the community, see what they like to buy, and then launch the market next summer.
And are your markets regulated by the county? So being in a new county, is that going to require a different type of permit or dealing with different kinds of health departments or things?
So yes, kind of. I think most of our rules are statewide that we have to deal with. However, for permitting, there might be an event permit or something but the new town that we moved into, I don't believe there's going to be any of that.
That's clever. Do a little pop-up preview and get to know the community and then get an idea of what to do when you launch. So are all your markets seasonal, or is the Saturday Nolensville year round?
Nolensville's year round. We've been going year round for since COVID. I think we really just the community rallied during that time. And so our first season when we launched, we were unexpectedly surprised at how well the season went. And so we did try to do a winter market. And of course, being novices. We didn't know all the ins and outs of what really mattered. And so we moved the market all indoors and it just died. It was
Oh.
not great. So we're like, we're not doing this again. We're going to be a seasonal market until COVID happened and we pushed everyone outside. And then now our winter market is both inside, outside, same as our regular summer market. It's really a great location to have because we have some older vendors that just cannot deal with the Tennessee heat. And so they will leave other markets when they get to that point of just not being able to handle the heat because we have inside air conditioned location.
And then are those the same farmers that want to be inside during the winter because they also can't handle the cold?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. And we really, really preach to our vendors of like trying not to move around too much. You don't want to confuse the customers. They really get into a habit of, even if you move them across the aisle customers will come. Where are they? We'll just turn around right behind you.
You can find them. Don't worry.
Yeah. We usually don't have to talk farmers and vendors into that. They're the ones that don't want to move.
If I move them 1 foot, it's like I've just ruined their whole business.
That's right.
So but that's good. Everyone has their spot, so that's good. All right, well, that's awesome that we're able to transition to a year round, and so one of those silver linings of COVID. I think everybody got used to being outside more. I feel like that's true with like restaurants. There's more outside dining and things like that. So just shopping outside makes more sense to folks. So that's
and
lovely.
I think people came to the markets because they were afraid of being inside at grocery stores.
Yeah.
And grocery stores had such supply chain issues.
Mhm.
So, and then they got to taste what farmers market food tastes like.
And how can you go back?
Now they got the habit.
Yep.
You have kids too, right, Casey?
I have 4. Yes. 4 kids.
That's what I thought. So my next question is, with all that, with 2 and soon to be 3 markets and 4 kids, and you're the presidency of the Tennessee Farmers Market Association, why are you doing additional events? We see that you have the Cultural Food Fest coming up, and it looks like a really awesome event. But why are you doing extra events?
Yeah, I don't know because I'm crazy. No,
Because you can't sit still.
I was just telling a vendor about this particular one. Although the goal is to make some money, we are primarily using farmers market vendors that already kind of have that global niche. And then also inviting vendors from other markets to come in that don't have the capacity to do our markets on a regular basis. And so kind of creating that relationship with them, bringing different foods and cuisines into Nolensville, which does not have a wide variety of options available. But for a more personal reason, just so I have access to it. So
I find that all great ideas are self-serving. That's
an
my
idea
theory.
to help yourself, and then other people like it too. That's right.
No, I mean, growing up, my family, we didn't really venture into I didn't have Chinese food until I was a senior in high school. I didn't eat Indian food until like 3 years ago. So like, I have been adamant about giving my kids access and just making sure that they try everything.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Have you done other events like this that were not the Cultural Food Fest in particular, but other events in addition to markets? Do you do annual things or?
We do, yes. So we have an annual food truck festival. Again, the goal is to raise money. We don't always break, sometimes we break even. But that was started as just a way to celebrate the end of the school year, kind of kick off the farmers market season, build relationships with other food truck owners, and then try to get them to come pop up at the farmers market, and then make a little bit of money in the end, hopefully. We do that the last Friday of May every single year. And then we have also hosted our farm to table events, which again, the goal is always to raise money if we can. The first probably 3 years we did that event, we barely broke even. But just like the farmers market, I think being consistent, even if you're not bringing in extra income all the time, if you can stay consistent, that event has really grown for us. And so our last year that we did it was in 20, I want to say 22. We finally found a really great restaurant partner, which I think is a key to having a farm to table dinner. A lot of when we were doing it out on the farm, the costs involved with doing it out on a farm with not very many facilities available was astronomical, and it didn't make the event worthwhile. We were barely breaking even by charging what I felt like was a pretty high ticket cost um, for the people that we were trying to bring in. We also started that event in the hopes of just getting the community together and then showcasing local food at a higher end a higher end plating, right? So, this is simple food done really well, and you can do that at home too. But that final year, when we finally found a restaurant partner, we didn't have to rent the tables and chairs. We didn't have to rent the dishes. It was inside the restaurant, so there was no tent. We paid their staff their hourly rate. The restaurant didn't charge us a rental fee, which was super helpful. We paid all of our vendors for the food. We didn't ask for discounts or to be handed the food. We paid for it. And then we paid the restaurant basically a pantry fee of some of those things that you can't get at the farmer's market: salt, pepper, seasonings, like, stuff that they just had on hand to make those dishes come together. And we made the most money that year that we've ever done it. So if you can find someone that has the facilities, you don't have to rent all of those extra things. Even though being on the farm is so amazing and beautiful and hot.
And buggy and dust. I feel like city people are like, yes, I want to go to a farm. It's going to be so like magical and mystical and lovely. What a dream. And then you get there and you're like, oh, like stepping in a gopher hole. And like, I mean, the farmers they're just all used to it. But I do like going to farms, but it reminds me why I want to keep farmers in business so I can buy their produce and not have a farm of my own. So
that's right. City
that's
girl.
helpful. Yes.
City girl over here.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the events, I mean, you are making some money sometimes, but it also sounds like you're benefiting by, increasing customer loyalty and getting them used to associating with you and doing the things that you do. And also sounds like with the food truck event and such, and maybe this one coming up as well, that some of it's about recruiting vendors that may then kind of segue into your market on a more consistent basis. Right?
Yep. And then we do our markets are overseen by a nonprofit entity. And so that nonprofit entity also, similar to like that Thanksgiving event we do, we also have a holiday market event that we do. So it's outside of the farmers market world. However, we're still pulling a lot of our vendors that we use at the market to come over and do the holiday event as well. So where it's more craft focused because it's a holiday shopping event than food focused, but still we're utilizing those relationships with food trucks and musicians and all those people that we work with all throughout the year at our bigger events as well.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So the Cultural Food Fest, maybe explain that event just for like listeners who don't know what that is, and then we'll kind of get into more details. Yeah.
So the focus is primarily food from other cultures, not necessarily just other countries. We have a gumbo food truck that's going to come, So anything outside of Tennessee and American food, just the standard stuff we have invited to come out. But food is not the only feature. We have a henna vendor that's going to come and do henna on site. We've been talking to a vendor that handcrafts African clothing and African woven baskets. So it's just about exposure and meeting these vendors and these makers of things that are not typical to what we see in daily life.
Yeah. So these are vendors that are not like regularly at your market? You're bringing in different folks to come in just for the special event?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So they may be vendors at other markets, or just, pop-up vendors, maybe just even a seamstress in her house. So it could be literally anyone that has a skill that they want to come out to the market and showcase, that is just different than what we're experiencing.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Where do you find them if they're not like in your market sphere?
Yeah, so we, being president of the association, have contacts with markets across the state, but we have a really great, really tight-knit group in Middle Tennessee around the Nashville area. And so just putting the feelers out with other market managers, obviously scouring social media. And I've been just reaching out to vendors as I see them. We don't really have a goal, obviously. We have spaces that we can fill. We have a limit, but I didn't set a goal of saying, oh, I want 25 vendors. It's just kind of whatever's going to happen this first year. We really want to just get a feel for the event and see how well attended it is before we really blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
So it's coming up in November, right? Do you have a sense at this point of how many vendors you'll have, or too early to tell?
So right now we've got about 15 vendors, most of that being food. I've been in talks with several more. So I think we're probably going to see 20 to 25 vendors for this event. So not huge. It's going to be where the farmers market is normally held. So we have, if it rains that evening, we'll have seating inside, food trucks serving outside. And then also the goal is to have culturally different entertainment. So we're looking for like a mariachi band and maybe some Irish dancers or something like that. So
yeah,
I got to tell you, those Bollywood style dance lessons, huge hit.
So
Huge
fun.
hit. We've done that at other events.
Yeah. That sounds fun. It sounds like a great way to like bring community together. I like that you said it'll work in your regular farmers market location, just because like the special event that I do around the holidays, it's on like the same market street and then just adjacent street, but it's so nice to be extra familiar with the streets. Like this has a curb cut. This has a, driveway we can't block. Like just being in a familiar place. I think sometimes as market managers look for other places to do special events, we think, oh, we'll do it in this cool new area. But if it works, it's nice to be in a familiar place. I think that might be good, especially for a new event that you're just starting.
So it sounds like you do this a lot. So maybe, I don't know if this question makes sense, but what kinds of market management skills apply to putting this kind of event together? And then what kind of skills do you have to have for an annual event like this that are different? That's, something you need to learn to do that you don't do on a weekly basis at a market?
I think every skill that you need to manage a market applies. I mean, vendor recruitment, placement, figuring out logistics of load in, and communication with the vendors about, your generator needs to be quiet, or, whatever that is, whatever their supplies need to be. Differently, it's the skill that I personally had to learn was figuring out how far out to really push the event and start, trickling those little bits of, hey, we're doing this on through social media, and how much to push it in line with everything you put out about the farmers market too, because we don't have separate social media. So you're having to do these events in line with your typical advertisement of the market. So that was something that I still have not figured. If anybody knows the answer to that, let me know, because it kind of right now is just like, oh man, I probably should promote that this week again and wait a couple weeks and do it again. And it's just always on mind of how often to promote extra events outside of the farmers market.
That's a good point, I think, because with farmers markets, we're not really thinking about, oh, when do I say something? Because we're just always saying something because it's happening every week. But this does happen with our events too, our holiday events. As soon as I post it, that Saturday, people will show up and say, I thought this was the holiday event. And it's like, no, it's in like 30 days. But as soon as you say something, they think it's happening right away.
Yeah.
So kind of figuring out that timing. I mean, I don't have an answer for you either because I'm always trying to figure it out. But like trickling out the marketing on it, you don't want to wait too close to the event because you want people to be able to plan, but you don't want to say it too far ahead because either they get excited and then forget about it or they think it's happening right away. So,
and you don't want to take attention away from your weekly marketing. So you don't want to distract people. You know, I almost think it's not only how far in advance, but like what days of the week. Like maybe you only want to talk about the holiday events on Tuesday and Wednesday because that won't distract them from the Saturday market. By the time you get to the end of the week, you got to be talking about the market, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you have, as we have, and still do now, again, for many years, you have markets on the weekend and in the middle of the week. So there is no safe day to avoid distracting from
Monday
the market.
morning. Yeah.
Monday morning. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. Do you use the same staff for these kind of events as you do for the market? Or do you, how much staff do you have? Daniel?
Yeah, no. So Daniel is not staff. He is a board member, volunteer. There's me. I'm full time, and I have 2 half-time or part-time AmeriCorps members. Which
nice.
This is our 3rd year having AmeriCorps members. Which when I found out about the program, was so excited that farmers markets can qualify for that. So if you have AmeriCorps in your state or AmeriCorps program, look into it because it is amazing.
Those are volunteers? Or no, they pay part-time?
Yeah, so they're paid, and it's not paid. It's a living wage.
A stipend, right?
Stipend, yep. Yeah. It's similar to like the Peace Corps, but they serve nonprofits stateside. So they get a living stipend. The nonprofit they work with, depending on the program in the year, our program here in Nashville, we pay half of the living stipend, and then there's a grant that pays for the other half. So you're getting, a 20-hour a week service member to come help your nonprofit for half of what they're getting paid. So it's really, really super beneficial. It's a low cost way for nonprofits to get help. And I love the program.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. So will your AmeriCorps folks that work at the markets, will they also work on the Cultural Food Fest?
Yes. Yeah.
How long do you have the same person with you?
So different programs have different lengths of time. Our particular program is a year-long program. So they work or they serve January to December. There are other markets that have programs that service member only serves May to October. So it's really just that program, your state's program, what they allow and if they can adjust a little bit.
Wow, I never thought of that. I mean, I knew what AmeriCorps was, but I didn't think about them servicing nonprofits that run farmers markets. That's awesome.
Yeah, great idea.
I feel like that could help a lot of folks that run markets.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit like there's a little more integrity there than a straight volunteer. You are paying somebody, and somebody else is paying them, so they're getting a reasonable amount of wage.
Yeah,
but your overhead is very low, which is important in especially newer farmers markets or smaller farmers markets.
And being with you for a year, it's like you can really get them trained up, and that's a valuable thing. Other than like having it, we've talked about interns where you have them for a couple months, and it's like how deeply can you train somebody like that? So what a great option. Yeah, and they can help with these special events, which is great.
So the event is self-funded by vendor fees. You don't sell tickets at Cultural Food Fest, right?
Not yet. This is obviously first time ever doing something like this. I chopped it up to basically being similar to our food truck festival. Our food truck festival, we just charge the food trucks a percentage of sales at the end of the night. For this event, we're doing the same sliding scale fee that we do for our regular farmers market vendors. So it is based on sales. It's not an exact percentage. It's a scale fee. So, and especially with events that are one-time events, I try not to do that. It's $150 to come to this event, and I have no history of what the foot traffic is going to be. So, or weather, or whatever. So we really like that percentage or a sliding scale for the first-time events until we can gauge how successful it's going to be, if we're going to have a decent turnout. despite cooler weather in November. So we'll just see.
That's
Yeah.
smart. Probably helps vendors want to give it a try.
Right.
And then it can be a better first time event because there's more vendors there and really give you a clear picture of if it's going to be a success moving forward.
Yeah, kind of a chicken and egg thing with a new event.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's only going to be successful if you have enough vendors, but the vendors want to wait and see if it's going to be successful. So
Yeah.
that's always a little bit tricky.
Yep.
Percentage probably helps them buy into a new event too, so that they don't, as you say, have to be a big fee if nothing happens, if people don't show up. It is really lucky for y'all that you have such a cool site where you've got some inside space in case that weather goes off in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. In that space, we actually started our food truck festival there. It's a catch-22, right? We were confined to a smaller parking lot, but we have that indoor space for seating and tables and chairs. And it's a beautiful historic gym too. So there's a stage and bleachers and all that. During 2020, we actually had to move the food truck festival to a church down the street with bigger parking lot because everybody needed to be outside. Our food truck festival that year, we did just kind of a pre-order and pickup. So there weren't people hanging around in the parking lot. We enjoyed the size of the parking lot because we can get a lot more people in and a lot more food trucks there. However, we're missing that inside component. And so we're really waffling whether we go back to limiting the food trucks, but having the inside space where we can have tables and chairs set out for people. It's just, how do you make those decisions?
Yeah, right. Can you put some food trucks inside, or do you have hot food vendors that are in tents? I know some states don't.
So that is new this year, 2024, January. The state of Tennessee launched the Farmers Market Food Unit Permit. So there's now a permit that allows vendors to cook under tents with less than what you would need a food truck to be permitted. Basically a hand washing bin, water, soap, and sanitizer. So that's been super exciting and new at farmers markets this year. So yes, we do have, and we had some that were just cooking in commercial kitchens, packaging it hot, bringing it to market hot. So yeah, we do have food vendors inside.
Cool. So you could add a few more food vendors inside if you get a really good response, right?
Yep.
Sounds like. Are you pitching sponsorships for this event in particular?
We don't really push sponsorships. We've had a couple people reach out, and I always waver. Our farmers market, we don't really. I know some markets really like the business, the sponsor business goal needs to be in line with the market. We don't really take it that far. Obviously, our local like gyms and dentists and chiropractors, they're a big pool for the farmers market. They love to be there. This year we've had like Renewal by Anderson. I don't
we
know.
Do too.
They're at our markets.
They're everywhere.
They love farmers markets.
They do love farmers markets. Yeah.
Yes. So for special events, I don't know. I go back and forth. We have a travel agent that is interested in being it. And I thought, well, if it's cultural food festival, then maybe a travel agent kind of fits that.
Travel
right?
to
that
other
makes sense.
cultures. Yeah,
I think
love
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Go for an airline. They have money.
Yes.
That's what you need to be after. And so if you end up with sponsors for this event, will Daniel have an appropriate shirt on? That's what I want to know.
Yes. What is Daniel's shirt going to be for the sponsor? That's what
right.
I want to know.
For those of you who have not heard earlier episodes, Daniel sometimes wears shirts with sponsor logos on them around the market. So
it is. Yeah, that is a sponsor packet. Like that's a package that you can buy for him to wear your shirt.
So smart.
That's so smart.
So smart.
Whose shirt are you wearing nowadays
Seriously,
Bridget?
I need to get on that. I feel like when we had that conversation, I was like, I'm going to do that. And I never circled back. I'm going to get on that.
Yeah, you should pay attention.
I love that idea.
That would work. Yep. So no idea what kind of attendance you expect. We're all just still guessing. You touched on it briefly, but do you see one of the big benefits from this type of event that your neighbors and your community get exposed to other cultures? Are you trying to do kind of an educational element here? And
absolutely.
Perspective?
And that's the primary goal. Like if we can make money, fantastic. But the whole purpose of our nonprofit is to be an education arm and expose the community to fresh produce, great food, their neighbors that make things. So that's the biggest goal.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, there's so much division in the world right now. It's lovely to show people that we're all humans. We all love to eat. We all can hang out together, right?
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, and food from other cultures is delicious, and you shouldn't wait until you're 18 to figure that out. So you're helping the masses. Like,
That's right.
Give them the good food.
No, one of the other benefits I think that we found after we did the food truck festival the first time in our current market location is that we were also catching traffic that didn't necessarily drive by on a Saturday morning. They were driving by, coming home from work on Friday night. And so we had a lot of people stop by and say, like, oh, what's going on? Obviously, there's things to eat here. But then it also gave us an opportunity to talk to them about the farmers market. Like, oh, we're here in this same spot Saturday morning. So, turn around and come back.
Oh, yeah. So smart.
Marketing tool.
Yeah.
Always.
For sure.
Yep. Well, I would say what's next for Casey, but it sounds like you just told us what's next for you. But what's next for your greater organization? You guys keep rolling with the 3 markets. Anything else new and exciting for 2025 coming up?
We're just trying to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
TAFM, the association actually was awarded an FMPP grant this year.
Wow.
So we're really excited. Our first one ever. And Denise, who is our AmeriCorps member for TAFM, is piloting a farmers market trail in Middle Tennessee. So we're really excited to launch that and get that rolling and see where it can take us for the entire state, hopefully in the coming years.
Is that what the FMPP grant was for? It was the Farmers Market Trail?
Yes.
Joint marketing? Yep. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I love that. Are there term limits at TAFM? Are you going to be president forever, or how's that going?
No, I'm not president forever. I actually thought that my term ended this year, but it does not. It ends in 26. So a couple more years of me.
One more exciting year. Y'all do a regional conference, right? That's pretty big.
Yes, the Pick Tennessee Conference. It's actually a statewide. It's held in Middle Tennessee every year because the ends of our state are pretty far. I'm sure you guys know that too. It's hard to hold something in one side of the state or the other just because it's so far away. So Middle Tennessee, the Pick Tennessee Conference is held at the end of February every year. And TAFM plays a pretty big part in helping put together speakers and workshops for that. So it's coming up.
So, the Intense Conference is a little bit later this year. It's the second week instead of the first week in March. So it sounds to me like you will have plenty of recovery time between your conference and ours, and we hope to see you back in San Diego. We miss you.
Yes, it's been a couple years. I need to come.
Yeah,
That's right.
Been a little bit.
Come on back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you. Thank you for being with us. If people want to attend the Cultural Food Fest, where do they go to get information?
NolensvilleFarmersMarket.com. All of our events are posted there, obviously all over social media as well, at Nolensville Farmers Market on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, I wish you were just a little bit closer. I'd be popping over myself. But if you're in Middle Tennessee or nearby, go check out that Cultural Food Fest. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds so fun. We have lots of Tennessee listeners.
We do.
Actually, had lots of conversations with them. So I hope it's a great event, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be on Tent Talk today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Casey. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening today, and big thanks to Vendor 101 for helping new farmers, food makers, and artisans launch at farmers markets, making market managers' lives easier, and for generating the income that lets us produce Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. To register, click the Vendor 101 logo on the homepage at farmersmarketpros.com. And for more information on creating a customized Vendor 101 program for your market organization, email us today at connect@farmersmarketpros.com.
Thanks for listening to Tent Talk today. Please leave us a review on your podcast app or wherever you listen to Tent Talk. Let us and others know how you're enjoying the podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Tent Talk. Connect with fellow Farmers Market folks in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community, and follow us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros. Find online education and other resources at farmersmarketpros.com. Tent Talk is brought to you by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Tent Talk is hosted by Kat Fields-White and Bridget Myers and produced by Leandra Hayes, with original music by David Mead. Tune in next week for another great episode.